Good evening, and welcome back. Tonight we step aboard a vessel crafted from ironwood, teak, and old maritime memories. The sun has just dipped below the Earth's curve, leaving a soft indigo twilight that cradles the ocean. Feel the remaining warmth of the day radiating up through the floorboards, comforting your tired muscles. A young sailor sits nearby, his hands loose and resting on his lap. His rest is your rest. The work is done, the sails are set. Listen to the tiny waves brushing against the side of the bow. Shh. Shh. It is a repetitive, comforting sound that has not changed for centuries. It whispers to your body that it is time to let go. Close your eyes, breathe in the sweet scent of dried cloves carried by the night breeze, and enjoy your sleep. Let yourself drift with the boat into the dawn, into the quiet, into total peace. The light of the day does not fade quickly out at sea. It lingers. It changes from a bright, pale gold into a deep, heavy indigo that seems to rise from the water itself. On the deck of the vessel, the planks are still retaining the warmth of the sun. It is a dry, gentle heat that radiates upward through the soles of bare feet. The young crew member, Laode, sits with his back rested against the thick base of the main mast. His hands are resting loosely on his lap. His fingers are calloused from the thick hemp ropes, but right now they are perfectly still. There is no work left to be done for the evening. The sails have been trimmed to catch the steady, predictable night breeze that blows off the coast of Celebes. The cloth is dark canvas, heavy and thick, hanging in wide, soft curves against the darkening sky. The boat moves at a walking pace, maybe even slower. It does not rush. It has never rushed. It is a vessel built to drift, to carry tons of nutmeg, timber, and woven cloth across thousands of miles of quiet water, day after day, night after night. Laode listens to the sound of the water. It is a repetitive sound. Shh. Shh. Every time the bow dips down into a small swell, the water parts with a soft, whispering sigh. Then there is a silence, a long, heavy silence where the boat just glides. And then again, shh. Across the deck, another young sailor is leaning over the side rail. His eyes are half closed. He is watching the small trails of phosphorescence that wake up in the water when the hull passes by. They are faint, tiny green sparks that glow for a second, then drift backward into the dark, then vanish completely. No one speaks. The air is too heavy for speaking. Words take too much effort, and there is nothing new to say. The sea is the same as it was yesterday. The sky is the same. The destination is still many days away. Laoda lets his head drop back against the timber mast. The wood feels solid. It does not shake. It only sways, a slow 5-inch tilt to the left, a long pause, and then a slow 5-inch tilt to the right. It is like being held in a giant wooden cradle that has been rocking for 100 years. The creaking of the wood is low-pitched. It is not a sharp sound. It is a deep, resonant groan from the belly of the ship, where the great beams of ironwood press against one another under the weight of the cargo. It sounds like a giant animal breathing very slowly in its sleep. He closes his eyes for a moment. The darkness inside his eyelids matches the darkness of the sea. The warm breeze touches his forehead, lifting a single strand of hair, then letting it fall back down. The smell of the ship is comforting. It smells of dried coconut oil used to grease the wooden pulleys. It smells of the old jute sacks in the hold. It smells of peace. Lying down on a traditional trading boat is different from lying down on land. On land, the ground is completely rigid. It does not give. But here, the timber floorboards feel alive, moving in a soft, continuous loop. Laode unrolls his sleeping mat. It is woven from dried pandanus leaves, smooth and cool against his bare skin. He lies down on his back, placing a small, smooth block of polished wood under his neck as a pillow, just as his father and grandfather had done before him on these same waters. His muscles begin to let go one by one. His shoulders sink into the mat. His legs feel heavy, like pieces of driftwood that have finally washed ashore and settled into the wet sand. Above him, the sky is an immense black dome. There are no clouds. There are only stars. Thousands and thousands of tiny, steady points of light that do not flicker because the air out here is so pure. The mast points upward like a dark, steady finger, tracing tiny circles against the Milky Way as the boat moves, left, then right, up slightly, then down slightly. The movement is so regular that it becomes invisible after a while. It becomes a part of his own body. Listen to the timber. Creak, settle, creak, settle. Every piece of wood in the vessel has been chosen for its strength and its ability to bend without breaking. The ship does not fight the ocean, it yields to it. When a small swell approaches from the starboard side, the boat lifts its side gently, lets the water slide underneath its wide belly, and then settles back down into the trough with a soft, wet thud. The air is cooling down now, just a little. The sharp heat of the day has gone, replaced by a soft, humid coolness that covers the skin like a light sheet. Laode pulls a small piece of sarong cloth over his stomach. The fabric is old and soft from many washings in fresh river water during their stops at the coastal villages. It smells faintly of wood smoke from the village fires. It is a distant smell, a memory of dry land, but out here, miles away from any shore, it feels incredibly safe. He watches a coil of rope nearby. It is a thick hawser, neatly wound in a perfect circle on the deck. In the dim starlight, it looks like a sleeping animal, coiled tightly and completely still. Nothing moves on the deck except the long shadow of the sail, which shifts by an inch every few minutes as the boat follows the curve of the wind. The world has shrunk to the size of this wooden deck. There is nothing else. No cities, no noises, no worries. Just the wood, the stars, and the endless, quiet sea. The horizon has vanished. In the middle of the night, when the sea is this calm, the line where the water ends and the sky begins disappears completely. It feels as though the boat is suspended in the air, floating in a vast, dark space filled with small lights. If you look down over the side of the wooden hull, you see the stars beneath you. The Southern Cross is reflected perfectly in the dark water, its 4 points shining softly through the liquid blackness. The boat moves right through them, its bow cutting a slow, silent path through the reflected sky. The stars do not break, they just ripple gently, stretching out into long, soft ribbons of silver light before closing back up behind the rudder. Breathe in. Feel the cool sea air fill your chest. It is clean and empty. Breathe out. Let your weight sink down into the solid ironwood planks. The ship can carry you. The ship has carried thousands of tons of cargo before you, and it will carry you effortlessly through the dark.
Laode looks up at the constellation of the navigator. The old men in his village told stories about these stars. They said that the stars are the eyes of the ancestors watching over the traditional boats, making sure the path remains straight. He does not need to look at a compass. The captain, sitting at the stern with his hand resting lightly on the long wooden tiller, knows exactly where they are by the position of those white lights. The captain does not move his body. He is like a statue carved from the same teak wood as the ship, sitting in the darkness, feeling the sea through his skin. Every sound is distant now. The splash of the bow wave is smaller now, just a tiny whisper. Hush, hush. The wind has dropped to a mere breath, just enough to keep the sails full and round, preventing them from flapping against the rigging. When the sail is quiet, the whole world is quiet. You can hear the small drops of dew condensing on the wooden railings. They collect in the grain of the wood, forming tiny clear beads that slide slowly down the side and drop into the sea. Drip, drip. His eyes are becoming very heavy. It feels as though small, warm weights have been placed on his eyelids, pressing them down, down, down. He does not try to keep them open. There is nothing to see but the stars, and the stars will be there all night. They will be there tomorrow and the night after that. He lets his eyes close completely. The darkness inside is warm and soft. The rhythm of the ship continues. Creak, settle, lift, fall.
At 3 in the morning, the air changes. It becomes thinner, cooler, and completely still. Basri wakes up without a sound. His internal clock knows it is his turn to sit at the helm. He does not stretch quickly. He rises slowly, his movements deliberate and quiet, so he does not disturb the other 3 boys sleeping on the deck mats. He walks to the stern of the boat. His bare feet make no sound on the smooth timber. The captain slides away from the tiller, nodding once in the darkness, and disappears into the shadows to rest. Now, Basri is alone with the ship. He sits on the low wooden bench at the very edge of the stern. His right arm goes over the long, heavy bar of the wooden tiller. The wood of the tiller is worn smooth from 60 years of human hands gripping it. It has no splinters. It feels like polished bone. Through the wood, Basri can feel the rudder moving through the deep water below. There is almost no resistance. The sea is like oil tonight. The rudder cuts through it without effort, leaving a long, wide, flat wake behind the ship that looks like a straight road made of dark glass. He does not need to pull the tiller. He only needs to let the weight of his arm rest on it. If the boat drifts an inch to the left, the weight of his arm gently brings it back to the right. It is an effortless conversation between his body, the wood, and the sea. He fixes his eyes on a single star on the horizon. As long as that star stays directly aligned with the tip of the bowsprit at the front of the ship, the boat is on its course. The boat moves forward by some secret force. The sails are dark shapes against the sky, completely motionless. There is no fluttering, no snapping of canvas. The wind is constant and soft, like a long, unbroken breath from a sleeping giant. Basri feels his own breath matching the rhythm of the wind. Inhale, and the boat glides. Exhale, and the boat continues to glide. His eyes are wide but relaxed. He does not look around. There is no need to look around. There are no other ships here. There are no reefs in this part of the deep sea basin. There is only space. Deep, dark, peaceful space. The coldness of the night dew begins to settle on his shoulders, but it does not make him shiver. It is a refreshing coolness that keeps him grounded in the present moment, listening to the small, rhythmic thrum of the water sliding past the rudder blade. Thrum, thrum, thrum. This is the quietest hour. The time when the night is nearly finished, but the day has not yet begun. The stars are losing their sharp edges. They are softening, melting into a dark, smoky gray sky. On the deck, the sleeping sailors do not move. They are lost in deep, dreamless sleep. Their breathing is a chorus of soft, slow rises and falls. One of them shifts his arm, his fingers brushing against the cool, damp wood of the deck planks before settling back into stillness. The dew has coated everything now. It has made the ropes heavy and wet. It has made the canvas sails dark and stiff with moisture. The whole ship is covered in a thin, protective layer of water, shining under the dying starlight. Everything is still. Even the sea seems to have slowed down its breath. The small waves have smoothed out completely, becoming wide, flat sheets of satin that rise and fall by only an inch or two. The boat does not creak anymore. The wood has expanded with the moisture of the night, locking the joints tightly together so that the ship moves as one single solid piece of timber. It does not make a sound. It is a silent ghost ship drifting peacefully across a silent world. Basri sits at the helm, his chin resting near his chest. His hand is still on the tiller, but his mind is completely empty of thoughts. He does not think about yesterday. He does not think about tomorrow. He is just a part of the boat's mechanism, moving when the water moves, staying still when the water stays still. His body feels incredibly light, as if it is made of the same dark air that surrounds him. Let yourself drift, like the trading boat. There is nowhere you need to go right now. The destination will arrive on its own time. The boat knows the way. The water knows how to support the hull. You do not need to do anything to move forward. You just need to exist. You just need to let the night fade away naturally. A soft, long sigh escapes his lips. It drifts out over the water and disappears. The air is perfectly sweet, smelling of nothing but clean ocean and the faint, sweet scent of the ironwood hull. The whole world is completely at peace. Every single thing is exactly where it belongs. The ship is on the water. The stars are in the sky. The body is at rest. Now the light returns, but it does not come with a bright flash. It comes like a slow, pale mist spreading across the edge of the world. The sky changes from black to a very deep, cool slate gray. Then, after a long time, it becomes a soft, pale lilac. The water is no longer dark. It is a vast, smooth mirror reflecting the pale lilac sky. There is no difference between the air and the water. They are both the same color, both made of the same silence. The trading boat looks small in this immense pale world, but it looks perfectly secure. Its sails are no longer black silhouettes. They are now a warm, soft shade of cream, catching the very first rays of light that are still hidden below the curve of the earth. Laode opens his eyes for just a second. He sees the soft, pale gray light on the deck planks. He sees the wet ropes shining with dew. He sees Basri still sitting at the helm, his silhouette soft and relaxed against the morning sky. Everything is safe. Everything is quiet. The morning has arrived, but it has brought no noise with it. There are no birds yet. There are no waves breaking. There is only the endless glass-smooth sea. He lets his eyes close again. He does not need to wake up yet. The sun will take another hour to rise above the water, and until then, the boat will just continue to drift through the calm morning mist. He pulls his soft sarong cloth a little higher over his shoulders, tucking his chin into his chest. The warmth of his body is contained within the small space of his mat. The boat moves on. Shh. Shh. The sound is so faint now, it is almost a memory. The water rises a fraction of an inch, and the wooden hull responds with a tiny, soft creak from deep within its bones. It is saying that everything is fine. The journey is going exactly as it should. Sleep is here. Rest is complete. The boat is safe on the water, and you are safe in your bed. Let the light grow slowly outside, while you stay inside the warm, dark quiet. Let the ship carry you through the dawn. Let the sea hold you. Deep, slow breaths. Inhale the cool, clean morning air. Exhale and let go completely. Drifting, floating, sleeping.